Have a seat, please.
No, I was about to put on my smart glasses.
Yeah, I was supposed to put on your smart glasses.
You can keep your smart glasses on.
Okay.
All right, so you've had a little bit of time to work on these. So, you'll tell me how to do the first one?
Sure.
See.
Okay.
Okay, so first you identify what the hypotenuse is, which is the longest side, which would be the unanswered side, yes?
Right. Well, and how do you know it's the longest side?
Across from the 90-degree angle.
Yeah, exactly. It's across from the 90-degree angle. That's exactly what you should say.
Yep.
Go on.
Okay, and then you use the formula, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared.
Okay.
And you plug the 3 squared into the a, so it would be 3 squared plus 3 squared equals c squared.
Okay.
And then you do that, which would be 9 plus 9 equals 18.
Well, can I write c squared first?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what?
And then you can do like the
But
division,
before you do that,
subtraction,
before you do that, there's something else you should do. You should get c by itself first.
yeah.
C is the square root of 18.
Got it.
And then we can simplify the square root of 18. So with 18, what'd you break it into?
I broke it into 9 and 2,
Okay.
and then I broke the 9 into 3 and 3.
All right. And what is the square root of 3 times the square root of 3?
3.
Right. We still have a 2 left by itself, so that's 3 square roots of 2.
Yay.
Thank you very much.
Hooray!
And the crowd goes wild-ish.
Hooray!
I can be more wild for the next one, Mr. Davis.
Pardon?
I can be even louder for the next one if I get it right.
No.
Be like, yay!
I'll be loud too. Yay!
Is it recording?
Yes, it's recording.
Oh.
Good.
You know what?
All
It's okay.
Hooray!
All right. So, Sydney, tell me how to set this one up.
You can do 6 squared plus 6 squared equals c squared.
Okay.
And then, 36 times 36.
You said times.
Plus, sorry.
I say, I don't think that's what you meant. Go on.
And then you add those together and you get 72 equals c squared. And then c equals, the square root of 72.
Exactly. Go on.
And I didn't do the tree.
Didn't do the tree. Okay, it's fine. Matthew, tell me about this.
So, you can factor it via the tree method. So, the 2 that I split it into is 9 and 8.
Okay.
9 and 8 make 72. And so you can turn 9 into the square root of 3 and the square root of 3, right?
Right.
And the 8 into the square root of 4 and the square root of 2. And then you can turn that square root of 4 into 2 square roots of 2. And what you want to do is multiply the square root of 3 and the square root of 3, making it 3. And the square root of 2 and the square root of 2, making it 2. And then you have that square root of 2 left over by itself, making the answer 6 square roots of 2.
Nicely done.
Very well done.
Awesome.
Very well done.
All right, so let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Just a second. After seeing both of these, if I gave you this problem,
I would cry.
You don't even know what. Oh,
I would cry.
no.
Oh,
and I ask you to find the hypotenuse,
73.
it's 73 square roots of 2.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Did you notice that in both cases the hypotenuse was whatever the leg was times the square root of 2?
So smart, Mr. Davis.
That's why I get the big bucks.
I had that one.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm a teacher.
Lord, you love them.
Oh wait, I'm a teacher.
You were a teacher?
Mr. Davis, he could have been a college professor,
Yeah.
but still chose to teach us.
All right, so here is the rule. in an isosceles right triangle, and by the way, most of the time, because saying isosceles right is kind of a mouthful, we'll say 45, 45, 90 triangle.
That's still a mouth.
That's a lot.
Uh,
That's a lot.
But it's
If you want to say isosceles right triangle, feel free. The reason that it's 45, 45, 90 is this. This is an isosceles triangle, right?
See.
Which means that these two base angles are congruent. And since the angles have got to add up to 180, and this part's 90, that leaves 90 for these two. And since they're the same, how much does each one have to be? What's half of 90? 45.
Ah.
That's why that's always going to be a 45, 45, 90 triangle. So, the legs are congruent. The legs have to be the same because it's an isosceles triangle. And the hypotenuse equals the leg times the square root of 2. So the leg equals the hypotenuse divided by the square root of 2. Now, I have found over the last couple of years that for many of my students, an easier way to do this is to draw this little triangle. And I'll show you this when we get to an example. So if we've got a 45, 45, 90 triangle. By the way, we almost never put both 45s. Because if it's a 45 and a 90, the other one has to be 45. Okay? And what we'll do is this. We'll call this L for the leg. And that's L, and you should use, pretend like you can write in cursive. Don't do, an L like that, because what does that look like? An I or a 1. And this is equal to L times the square root of 2. For every 45, 45, 90 triangle, that is going to be what is true. These two are the same, and the hypotenuse is L times the square root of 2. Let me show you how you can use that, or you can memorize, sometimes I multiply by the square root of 2, sometimes I divide by the square root of 2, and we'll talk about when to do which. Okay? All right, so let's look at some example problems. So, this is a 45, 45, 90 triangle. So, the two that make the right angle are the legs. This is a leg, this is a leg. The hypotenuse is the leg times the square root of 2. So that means the leg is 25. So what's this leg? 25. Well, that wasn't rude much. And this is going to be whatever the leg is times the square root of 2. So what is it? 25 square roots of 2. Done.
Oh.
That is the easiest problem you will see on these, and you will have some like this. Okay? All right. On this one, which two sides are the legs on this one? Y is a leg, and what's the other leg? 5 square roots of 3. So how long is Y? 5 square roots of 3. And the hypotenuse is the leg times what? Square root of 2. And I know the leg is 5 square roots of 3. So x is 5 square roots of 3 times the square root of 2, which is what? 5 square roots of 6. Some students don't like writing the L, and the L square root of 2, and that's fine. You don't have to. You can just remember the hypotenuse is whatever the leg is times the square root of 2. For both of these problems, that's all you need to know. The hypotenuse in a 45, 45, 90 is the leg times the square root of 2. Now, what happens if they give us the hypotenuse? Well, it's the same idea. So which two are the legs here? X and Y. And the hypotenuse is equal to the leg times what? So it's 11. Who's it?
both the legs.
Yes. Because if you've got L times the square root of 2 is equal to 11 square root of 2, what does L have to be? 11. So both of these are 11. All right. Which two are the legs on number 4? Y and 9 square roots of 2. So that means Y is 9 square roots of 2. And the hypotenuse is the leg times the square root of 2. So X is going to be 9 square roots of 2, that's how long the leg is, times the square root of 2. You always take what you have for the leg and multiply it by the square root of 2. And what's the square root of 2 times the square root of 2? 2. So it's 9 times 2 is 18. I thought you were saying we needed to multiply by 2 again.
No, I just made an eternal rhyme in my head. Sorry.
Gotcha. All right. Number 5, which two sides of the legs? X and Y are the legs. So what is 24 equal to? No. No. What's the formula for it? I'm sorry. What is the formula for it? All those answers were wrong, by the way. What is the formula? L square roots of 2. All right, so on this one, you have to do a little work. You've got L square roots of 2 is equal to 24. And I want to solve for L. So I'm going to divide both sides by the square root of 2. Can I leave the square root of 2 in the denominator here? No. Do you remember what to do?
You multiply
Multiply by what?
square root of 2.
Close, but not quite. You were close.
Square root of 2 on top and 24 on. No, that would.
No.
Square root of 2
Do you have to multiply?
divided by square. No. Square root 2 on top and square root of 2 on.
Yes, you multiply by the square root of 2 over the square root of 2. You don't just multiply by the square root of 2.
I should have clarified, but in my head,
That's what you were thinking, but that's not what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to much of human tragedy, where people said one thing but were thinking another.
That's why we need to be educated these days.
I'm trying.
You're doing an excellent job.
Thank you. And then 24 divided by 2 is 12. So each of the legs is 12 square roots of 2.
That's great, guys.
All right, let's try this one. I apologize, I left off the X and the Y.
That's okay.
So which two are the legs?
X and Y.
X and Y. So the hypotenuse is, in terms of L, we've written this down like 7 times now. Thank you, L square roots of 2. Every single time the hypotenuse is L square roots of 2. So I've got L square roots of 2 equals 9 square roots of 5. How do I solve that for L?
You do the same thing that you.
Don't tell me do the same thing. Tell me what to do.
Okay.
Do divide it by the square root of 2.
Yes, you divide both sides by the square root of 2. Thank you, ma'am. We can't leave the square root of 2 on the bottom, so what are we going to do? By?
Square root of 2 over square root of 2.
Yes, ma'am. Square root of 2 over the square root of 2. Exactly right. So that's 9 square roots of 10 over 2. Will 2 go into 9 evenly? Then leave it that way. Both of these sides are 9 square roots of 10 over 2. All right, for number 7, which two sides are the legs? X and Y. So what do I write for the hypotenuse? L square roots of 2. So L times the square root of 2 is equal to 19 square roots of 6. How do I solve that?
Divide each side by the square root of 2.
Yes, divide each side by the square root of 2. And here's where this one's slightly different than the last two. Because the square root of 6 divided by the square root of 2 is the square root of 3. Do not multiply it by the square root of 2 over the square root of 2. Your answer will be correct, but it will not be simplified, and therefore will lose some points. So each of the legs is 19 square roots of 3. All right, how about number 8?
X and 6.
Are what?
The legs.
Yes, but there's a problem. We're missing what?
What?
Huh?
Oh, no.
Well, no, he's right. We're missing a leg. We don't have this leg.
Oh,
Well, I mean,
There isn't a square root.
No, that has nothing to do with it. Do I know that this is an isosceles right triangle or a 45, 45, 90 triangle?
oh, we don't, we're missing
Yeah, they didn't give us the 45s. And in fact, I know that it is not a 45, 45, 90 triangle. And you should too. Because if it was, if the leg was 6, the hypotenuse would be 6 square roots of 2, wouldn't it? So we can't use this rule on this triangle. However, you already know a rule for this one. Yes?
I was just thinking about the answer.
Okay, well, I'd like to know how to get to the answer, not just what the answer is. And?
Oh, I got 8.
Okay, and I'm talking about how do we get to that answer? You're exactly right.
Wasn't it like the theorem that we did before, like the 6, 8, 10 thing? Yeah, the Pythagorean theorem thing.
Okay, so you can do the Pythagorean theorem on this, and I'm going to come back to the other part in just a second. No, Pythagorean theorem. The thing we did at the very beginning. The thing you did, the very first thing on this sheet today was Pythagorean theorem. So it's x squared plus 36 is 100. Makes x squared 64. So x is the square root of 64, which is 8. Now, someone recognized the Pythagorean triple.
There it is.
This is called a Pythagorean triple. The simplest one is 3, 4, 5. And here they just doubled everything. 6, 8,
That's what I was talking about.
10.
I didn't say it
I
right,
said it
so
differently.
you didn't know.
Oh,
But
Lord.
like, that's what I meant.
And we're back to that again. More human tragedy.
Like, that's exactly what I was thinking. I just didn't remember what it was called.
All right.
Continue on.
Lauren, bro.
Questions about this?
No.
Okay, I'm going to give you your worksheet. It's due tomorrow on Google Classroom. You have 15 minutes. I would suggest you get as much of it done now as you can so that you have less to do tonight after Fall Festival.